Imagine this. Every civilization in the galaxy receives the same message. Not a greeting, not an invitation, a warning. Something is coming. Something so dangerous that an unknown sender broadcasts the same signal to every star system capable of receiving it. Thousands of civilizations hear it. Perhaps millions. They understand. They prepare. Then they go silent. They hide. They do whatever the warning tells them to do. Every civilization receives the message. Except one. Us. Perhaps our technology was too primitive. Perhaps we were looking in the wrong direction. Perhaps the signal passed Earth thousands of years before we ever invented radio. By the time we began listening, it was already gone. Every other civilization knows what is coming. We do not. Meanwhile, humanity has spent more than a century broadcasting its location into space. That possibility offers a very different way of thinking about one of astronomy's oldest questions. The Fermi Paradox asks a simple question. If intelligent life should be common throughout the universe, where is everyone? You have probably heard the familiar explanations. The Great Filter. Perhaps civilizations destroy themselves before spreading beyond their home worlds. The Dark Forest. Perhaps advanced civilizations remain silent because broadcasting their existence is dangerous. The Zoo Hypothesis. Perhaps humanity is being deliberately observed but left alone. Each explanation begins with the same assumption. Civilizations are either gone, or they are choosing not to communicate. But there is another possibility, one discussed far less often. What if they are not hiding from us? What if they are hiding from something else? Suppose civilizations across the galaxy all receive the same instruction. Go silent. Shut everything down. Do not transmit. Not as a choice. As an emergency warning. And humanity simply never received it. Before dismissing that idea as pure science fiction, consider something interesting. The basic physics required for a galactic warning system already exists. In 2015, astronomers detected another example of one of the universe's most extraordinary phenomena, a fast radio burst. An intense burst of radio energy lasting only milliseconds, powerful enough to travel across billions of light years. Since then, astronomers have detected hundreds more. Some occur only once. Others repeat. The leading scientific explanations involve highly magnetized neutron stars, known as magnetars, and other extreme astrophysical events. There is no credible evidence that fast radio bursts are artificial. That is not the point. The important observation is much simpler. The universe already demonstrates that radio signals can travel extraordinary distances. If a sufficiently advanced civilization wanted to transmit a warning across vast regions of the galaxy, the required physics would not be impossible. The mechanism already exists. Now think about Earth's place in that timeline. Modern radio technology has existed for only a little more than a century. Before that, humanity was effectively deaf to signals arriving from space. If a warning crossed our region of the galaxy 10,000 years ago, or 100,000 years ago, or 1,000,000 years ago, no one on Earth would have heard it. The signal would have arrived, passed through, and continued on its journey, long before anyone here had the ability to receive it. If that happened, humanity would not have ignored the warning. We would simply have missed it. That naturally leads to the next question. What exactly would such a warning be trying to tell us? If civilizations across the galaxy received a message and chose to disappear, what could possibly frighten them enough to abandon communication? There are several possibilities. Some are grounded in known physics. Others remain entirely speculative. Let us consider them one at a time. The first possibility is a natural cosmic catastrophe. The universe is not a quiet place. It is violent. Gamma-ray bursts are among the most powerful explosions ever observed. A sufficiently close gamma-ray burst directed toward Earth could severely damage the atmosphere, strip away much of the ozone layer, and threaten complex life. Astronomers know these events occur. We have observed them in distant galaxies. Now imagine a civilization advanced enough to predict one before it happened. Such a civilization might broadcast a warning, not speculation, not a guess, a message containing precise information. When the event will occur, which regions of the galaxy will be affected, how to prepare. Civilizations receiving that warning could retreat underground, shield vulnerable infrastructure, suspend unnecessary transmissions while they focused on survival. Humanity, meanwhile, would continue living normally. Not because we ignored the warning, because we never heard it. The second possibility is far more unsettling. Suppose the danger is not a natural event. Suppose it is another intelligence. Not necessarily a civilization in the way we normally imagine one. Perhaps an ancient automated system. A machine. A network. Something created long ago and still carrying out its original purpose. Science fiction has explored ideas like this for decades. Self-replicating probes. Automated defense systems. Machines programmed to eliminate emerging technological civilizations before they become competitors. There is no evidence such systems exist. But if one did, remaining silent might become the most effective form of protection. The warning would be simple. Do not broadcast. Do not reveal your location. Remain invisible. Humanity, however, has spent more than a century doing exactly the opposite. Radio, television, radar, satellite communications, military transmissions. Every year, our electromagnetic signature expands farther into space. If silence truly offered protection, we have unintentionally chosen the loudest possible alternative. The third possibility is the most difficult to describe. Not because it is more frightening, because it may be beyond our ability to understand. Imagine an ant colony. The ants cannot comprehend why a highway suddenly appears through their habitat. They cannot understand engineering, economics, urban planning. They experience only the consequences. Their world changes for reasons completely outside their understanding. Now imagine a process operating on a similar scale above humanity. Not an invasion, not a weapon, simply something so much larger than our civilization that we lack the concepts required to describe it accurately. Perhaps advanced civilizations recognize the process. Perhaps they understand what is coming. Perhaps the warning makes perfect sense to them. Humanity, however, may not possess the knowledge needed to understand it. If that were true, missing the warning would not be our greatest problem. Receiving it might not have helped us at all. That brings us to the question that makes this hypothesis difficult to dismiss entirely. If civilizations across the galaxy really received a warning and went silent, what would we expect to observe from Earth? Ironically, we might see exactly what astronomers have been seeing for decades. Almost nothing. Projects searching for extraterrestrial intelligence have surveyed thousands of star systems. Increasingly sensitive radio telescopes have listened for artificial signals. Researchers have searched for enormous engineering projects, such as hypothetical Dyson spheres. So far, the results have been remarkably quiet. The conventional interpretation is straightforward. Perhaps intelligent civilizations are extraordinarily rare. Perhaps they never survive long enough to spread across the galaxy. Those remain entirely reasonable explanations. But there is another possibility. Perhaps they are there. They have simply stopped broadcasting. In 2015, astronomers studying Tabby's star observed highly unusual changes in its brightness. The pattern did not initially resemble any familiar astronomical process. For a short time, some scientists even suggested that large artificial structures could not yet be ruled out. That possibility received enormous public attention. As more observations became available, natural explanations involving dust and debris became increasingly favored. Today, those explanations are generally considered the most likely. Even so, the episode demonstrated something important. A single unexplained observation was enough for researchers to seriously examine the possibility of advanced technology before better data became available. That is exactly how science is supposed to work. Follow the evidence. Then revise conclusions as new evidence appears. Another interesting example appeared in 2020. The Breakthrough Listen project detected an unusual radio signal from the direction of Proxima Centauri. Researchers designated the signal BLC1. Initially, it displayed several characteristics consistent with something worthy of further investigation. Subsequent analysis strongly suggested the signal originated from human technology rather than an extraterrestrial source. That conclusion is now widely accepted. Even so, the event illustrates an important point. Astronomers continue listening because unusual signals do appear. Most eventually receive ordinary explanations. But researchers keep searching because one day an observation may refuse to fit any known category. Taken together, these examples reveal something interesting. The silence of the universe does not necessarily tell us why other civilizations remain undetected. It simply tells us they have not revealed themselves in ways we can clearly recognize, whether that silence reflects rarity, distance, self-destruction, deliberate concealment, or something no one has yet imagined, remains one of the greatest unanswered questions in modern astronomy. And that uncertainty is precisely what keeps the question alive. Let us sit with this idea for a moment. If this hypothesis is even partly correct, then humanity occupies a remarkably unusual position. For more than 100 years, we have been broadcasting our presence into space. Our earliest radio transmissions now extend outward in an expanding sphere that has reached well beyond our own solar system. Powerful radar systems have carried even farther. Messages such as the Arecibo transmission were sent deliberately, announcing that someone was here. At the time, we considered that something to celebrate. It reflected optimism, curiosity, a belief that if anyone was listening, they would welcome contact. Now imagine another possibility. Suppose every other technological civilization received the same warning. One by one, they shut down their transmitters, reduced their electromagnetic signatures, made themselves as difficult to detect as possible. Then, from one small planet orbiting an ordinary star, a new signal appeared. Bright, constant, growing stronger every year. From a great distance, Earth would stand out. Not because we are technologically advanced, because we never stopped transmitting. Imagine looking across an entire city after every house has turned off its lights. Only one window remains illuminated. It immediately draws your attention, not because it is brighter than everything else, because it is the only light still visible. Of course, this entire scenario remains speculative. There is no evidence that a galactic warning was ever transmitted. No evidence that civilizations across the galaxy received such a message. No evidence that humanity somehow missed it. The silence we observe may have entirely natural explanations. Life may be extraordinarily rare. Civilizations may simply be too far apart. Or perhaps we have only just begun listening, and the universe has not yet had time to answer. All of those possibilities remain consistent with the evidence we have today. But the warning hypothesis offers something valuable. Not proof. A different perspective. Instead of asking why the universe appears silent, it asks whether silence itself might be the message. If questions like this fascinate you, consider subscribing. Every week we explore another mystery where established science, unanswered questions, and informed speculation meet. Sometimes the conventional explanation grows stronger. Sometimes the mystery grows deeper. Either outcome is worth exploring. Tonight, as radio waves from Earth continue spreading through interstellar space, they carry pieces of our civilization with them. Television broadcasts, radar pulses, scientific transmissions, fragments of conversations, signals that quietly announce we are here. We usually think of those signals as humanity reaching outward. But every transmission also works in the opposite direction. It reveals our location. Perhaps no one is listening. Perhaps countless civilizations are. Perhaps the silence surrounding us is simply empty space. Or perhaps it is filled with societies that learned, long ago, the value of saying nothing at all. If that were true, then the most remarkable sound in our region of the galaxy would not be an alien transmission. It would be us, still talking, still searching, still unaware that everyone else has already gone quiet,